We started underneath the bridge.
Yeah.
I went to.
Yeah.
On a bunch of sheep setting.
Yeah.
And then we went back kind of the mountain of Chickasaw, the back of the bay.
Okay.
And we went to the river. And on the way back, we went to the mouth of.
Commission on Marine Resources for Tuesday, January 20th. Commissioner Osborne, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
One nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice.
Thank you, Commissioner. Director, would you like to lead us in a prayer?
Yep. Let's go to the Lord, please, and thank Him for everything that He's done for us. Lord, we thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to be able to have a Department of Marine Resources. And we thank you for this commission and the people in the agency. And we thank you for what they are able to do. And we just ask that you give us all the wisdom of Solomon to do it your way and not ours. That's just in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Next up, it looks like we have got to have a motion to move the February meeting to Tuesday, February 10th. Do we have a motion for that? No, I think we're all good with this motion, Director. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. All right, next up is approval of the minutes. Do we have any questions? Has everybody had an opportunity to review the minutes? Not, do we have a motion to approve? Motion approved. All in favor? Aye. The agenda up next. Do we have a motion to approve today's agenda?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, Director, it's all yours.
All right. Let's see, first thing, if you have any public comments, TJ's in the back, so make sure that he gets a copy of it if you need that. We are going to move along and start with the oyster season and our update on it. And right now, we're at 26,925 sacks have been harvested, and we're averaging about 455 sacks a day. Most of them are coming out of areas 2A and 2F. A total of 166 licenses have been sold to date, including 10 recreational, 82 in-state commercial dredge, 34 in-state commercial tong, 35 out-of-state tong, and 5 out-of-state dredge. We opened the season on the 13th of October, and right now, you know, we're closed due to the rain the last week, but hopefully they're doing tests today, and maybe we'll be able to open by tomorrow. And so the good thing about that, if you want, you know, we're right now at 26,000, almost 27,000 sacks. That's the largest amount we've had since 2010. That's the largest amount of sacks of oysters that have been harvested in Mississippi since 2010. So that tells you something, we're getting there. Team, thank you. Thank everybody. Thank the whole team there. Eric, Jason, Ellen, all of you, you're all doing great jobs. We thank y'all for what you do. And it's still 15 sacks per tonging and 20 sacks for the dredge and 3 sacks for personal recreation vessel in 7 days. It looks like that, we got a wide range of the sizes and everything, but I think we're doing good. So any questions on the oyster season? Hopefully we'll be able to keep it going. And our plan is at least March, I think. Is that right? And hopefully we'll be able to keep it going to March, April timeframe, somewhere along in there. But this time of the year, obviously we get into the rains and we get into some issues. And so we'll see. All right. On bottom oyster lease program, it's still on hold. We still haven't heard from the judge as to whether or not what we can or can't do. So we're just reverting back to the old way of doing business prior to last year's legislation. And so whatever the process was, the property that was there before, that's still in effect. But, and if they have a license on anything, if you have leased the properties prior to last year, then it's not a problem. We're still good and we'll be able to continue. All right. And we do have a new bill coming up in that. We'll talk about it in a minute. 2019-20 Bonnie Carriers, no real big update on it, but we're getting close. Everybody's getting paid. I think this second round of the 20, when we did the 2020, I think we have paid the majority of those people too. And so that's worked out pretty good. So I think we're getting there, and we were able to go back and adjust some of that to where we could do it by the boat. I think that's right, Rick.
Yeah, just real quick, we're trying to get her license, her individual, her boat. We're waiting on the village.
Okay. Yeah. And if we can get that done, that's going to help some more, just be able to get some more money to the fishermen. All right, legislative update. House Bill 602 is back in effect again. It has been introduced in several times, and I think there's even a House Bill 601. And but it's basically talking about how we're going to do labeling and what we're going to do with labeling. And the Senate also has a bill in. I'm not sure what the number is, if they've even put a number on it yet, but for the same thing. And what we're working with the labeling task force, and we're trying seafood marketing task force, and we're trying to come up with a way of how to make this work to where people, whether they're in a restaurant, whether they're in a grocery store, or whether they're market, whatever they do, how can we do something to help them be able to state whether it's domestic or import? And that's what we're working on. And right now it's going pretty good. And we've got a great group that's working with us. One of the things that we're going to try to do in Rochelle with Visit Mississippi, it's going to try to help us. And one of the things we're going to try to do with that is to come up and do some kind of campaign. And it'll be a campaign that'll be separate from legislation, but we're going to try to do a campaign to be able to go out and help market people, restaurants, seafood stores, markets, even the grocery stores, how to help market them and how to help them to be able to do if they are serving Gulf of America seafood. If they're serving Gulf of America, that's what we want. And then Mississippi seafood. So we're going to try hard. I think everybody's on board with it. Any questions on that part of that one? All right. The on bottom oyster lease is in, once again, we have that bill in the House and in the Senate. And I'm not sure the numbers on them right now. They just all got dropped last week. I'm not sure if they have the numbers on some of them. But those bills will be introduced and looked at. And what we're going to do is basically talk about how to meet what the judge told us. Number one, the judge told us it was unconstitutional. All right, it's unconstitutional. We couldn't do that. But I'm going to fight hard. I don't know. My goal is to fight hard as I can to be able to say that we're going to get past Marianne, past Christiane, Henderson Point, St. Joe. We're going to keep those. That's going to be my goal. My goal is to keep every one of those. And then let's lease the other. Telegraph we're not using anyway, okay? I don't have a problem with that. And some other areas out there don't have a problem with that. Let's find a way to make it work. And then I think we can, because we know now that we have capability of harvesting enough oysters to keep our fishermen going. So let's keep going with it. And that's a good thing I think we could do. Any questions on that one? The other two bills that are in, I know one of them is, but we're trying to find a way to pay reserve officers during times that we need them most. And I'm talking holidays like the 4th of July and Memorial Day and that type stuff. This is something new to this legislature because I don't think there's another state agency that has reserve officers. So we're trying to work that one. Patrick, I'm missing one. What's the last one? Huh? Oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah, it's to where if you buy a license from DMR, that we don't have to, if somebody asks for public record, that we don't have to give your information out other than your name and basically it. Wildlife has this. We tried to get it through last year, and for some reason or another, it didn't want to go. But we're going to push it hard again this year because basically we need to follow in line with wildlife and others to where that if somebody asks for public record, that I don't have to give them your address, your telephone number, or anything like that. And I hope we will get that done. Any questions? Other than that, the legislature is wide open. I tell you what, I was talking to some of them Sunday, and that they don't. What's next? I don't know. They seem to be jumping in there and just going, I'm gonna pass one thing and move on, and they do it, and that's where they're at right now. You know, one thing they did do right off the bat, the Senate jumped in and passed a thing to make PERS to help make sure that it's still in solvent waters, I would say, and but that's another thing we'll look at. All right. We got task force. We're going to meet again. We met on January the 12th. We're going to try to meet again on, I think, the 9th or something like that of February. And, but we're also meeting in between there, sending stuff back and forth on that. And so we're going to keep doing that. And the task force is working, and hopefully we'll get something done. The Gulf of Mexico fishery, it's not the Gulf of Mexico, it's the Gulf Fisheries Management Council now because they took out Mexico in it. They didn't put Gulf of America, but they made it the Gulf Council. So that's what it is now. And we meet January 26th through 29th in New Orleans. First time we're going to have a 3-day meeting rather than a 4-day meeting. So that's going to be good and help us all out a little bit. And hopefully we'll get some things done. We're working with the other states to be able to help us to do something. And hopefully we can get the allocation raised as far as our snapper this year. And we're working with other states to see what we can do. And I think we can maybe have a little bit of a chance of getting that done. And that's the next Mississippi Seafood Task Force meeting. Oh, I got that already. The next commission meeting, we got it. Y'all already talked about it. Our upcoming holiday closure is President's Day on Monday, February the 16th. So we'll be closed that day. One other thing we got, is Tracy here? Tracy's not here, but Tracy Floyd is retiring. And Tracy's retiring, and she's had over 25 years, and she was the Director of Fisheries for us, which is a very, very important job. And we want to thank Tracy. I was hoping she'd be here so we could, but we'll get her next month. How about that? She's not going to leave till about April, I think, something like that. And but we'll get her next month. But we did go out and we did a search because we knew this was coming, and we needed a new person to take over as the head of fisheries. And I'm proud to say that Trevor Moncrief in the back there. Trevor will be our new Director of Fisheries, and I tell you, he brings a lot of knowledge. I know he's not, but he's a young man in his 30s, but I tell you what, he's brilliant in what he does. And he brings a lot of knowledge to the table, brings a lot of credibility because of his stance as being the head of the SSC. And, you know, I remember when we was trying to get him on the SSC, I was told, well, you know, he just don't have enough experience. He just don't know enough to do that. He shouldn't be, you know, he's too young. He doesn't do this. Now everyone up's praising him. And they're saying that he's one of the best that we've ever had on the SSC. So Trevor, thank you. We look forward to you working with you. And I know that you'll take over right where traces that and move this thing, continue moving it forward. So we appreciate that. All right, one other thing. All right.
So I've heard the expression that you take a haircut if you get a pay cut. Is that why he got his hair shaved?
You see what happened when I did it. Hey, I cut my own hair. Look. Trevor, you better go to a barber because look at me. All right. Now, anybody watch the football game last night? Half of it. Boy, you missed a good football game. I tell you what, that was probably one of the most exciting national championships I've seen in a long time. But you know what was exciting to me? I've never been an Indiana Hoosiers fan. You know, I didn't even really know who they were. I just heard the name. I knew they was good in basketball for a long time, but I didn't know anything else other than that. But that's a team that was brought together with a bunch of misfits. They're going to do a movie on it. You watch out. It's coming. They're going to do a movie. But it was a bunch of misfits. And when I say misfits, that's what the people in the sports world want to call them because they were all 2 and 3 stars. They wasn't 4 and 5 star football players. They had 0, and I say 0 5-star players on that team and only 7 4-star players on that team. Now, 90 players. And
Is that Miami or
Indiana. You know, Miami had about all 4-star and 5-star. But Indiana had, on that team, they had nothing. And the quarterback came out of high school as a 2-star, and by the way, was in Miami, is where he lived, and walked on to Miami, and Miami really didn't want him. And he wound up being a Heisman Trophy winner this year. So it just tells you. And, you know, it's all about teamwork, and that's what it was all about. It was all about teamwork because you had 90 players playing together. And when 11 of them was on the field, they had each other's covered. They were not worried about it. They were going to be there for each other. They wanted to do it. They put the heart into it. And it brought me back to have some kind of proudness for college football again. Because I'm about up to here with the NIL. And, you know, and all the stuff that they're doing and paying the players millions of dollars. And, you know, it goes to prove, I don't know what Indiana's NIL budget was, but it couldn't have been much. You know, not with those. The highest paid person on there is probably quarterback, and he probably making $1 million a year. And, but you sit back and think about that. Here's all these teams that are paying millions on top of millions on top of millions to each player. And I got tickled. They was number 80. I don't know if you watched the ball game last night. Number 80, and I don't remember the kid's name. Wide receiver. Was a 3-star coming out of high school. All season, he did not drop a pass. The whole season, he did not drop a pass. And he made 2 of the best receptions last night that you could have ever made. I mean, falling backwards and catching it. But the point I'm getting at is the 5-stars aren't any better. The 3 stars and the 2 stars are just as good. And that's what am I getting here? Is what you want to know, right? What I want you to know is that you don't have to have a PhD to do a great job in whatever you're doing. You can take your expertise and you can take it and move forward, and you can get forward to where you need to go. And this team that we have right now, most every one of them have a degree in some form, but you don't have to. You can get there. All you got to do is put your effort behind it and believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, you can get there. And that's what happened last night in college football. They believed in themselves. So for Indiana, let's go Hoosiers. That's my report, sir.
Well, thank you, Director. I didn't make it past halftime, but I certainly will watch it when it comes on repeat. I can promise you. I think we got to go to the actions.
Something. No, I forgot something else too. We got 231 derelict vessels, 199 have been removed, 32 are pending. And I did forget Sandy and, Stephen. Oh, I have that? Well, see, it's not on my thing right here. All right, employment contracts. You can see them up there. Carolyn Webb, Brianna Asher, they're, I can't see it from here, my screen's out. But anyway, part-time, they're doing Marine Patrol, they're doing dispatch with us. And then we got Andrew Heaton, who is I can't see it from here, promoted to Environmental Natural Resource Specialist. Sorry about that. That's what I get for not having that sheet in front of me. All right, now, Sandy, can we get, Stephen?
Good morning, Director and Commissioners. Regarding discussed at our 2025 meeting, the Commission recommended and the Director approved a motion to approve Keesler Air Force Base's requested variance and to certify its proposed project to be consistent with the Mississippi Coastal Program. That's a project where there's going to fill coastal wetlands with about 1.5 acres of total fill. And it's going to be 1.35 miles long of a living shoreline, with those breakwaters being 100 feet long, 9 feet wide at the base, 4 feet tall, about 30 feet in between. And they're going to exceed about a foot out of the water from the mean high water mark. That's going to add about 8,200 cubic yards of riprap of total fill, with a little over 2,000 cubic yards to be above the mean high water. And that's all of the actions update we have for today.
Okay, any questions? Now I think I'm officially through.
All right, thank you. Any of the commissioners have anything to report on today?
Rick, y'all have any idea on that? Jason here?
Can you hear me? I'm going to pull this up. Bear with me 1 minute. We do have landings through November. Actually, we have it through December. Just bear with me. For 2025, we saw 5.3 or close to 5.4 million pounds landed. And that was at a value of a little over $11 million. So that's up from the previous 2 years. We saw a value of 7.5 and 7.7 in 24 and 23. So if we look back a little bit further, it's a lot lower than what we would have seen about 10 years ago. Seen a consistent trend down. But if you look at the value, quantity was the same in 24, and it was a little bit lower than 23, but the value has increased a lot. So we're seeing an average price per pound that's increased in 2025. That's the main difference.
I've got one quick question, I think probably for the new director of fisheries, if I had to guess. The new director of fisheries. We look, we brought up a few months ago, I think I was asking about a float plan on the recreational side. And I think we're a little bit, we didn't know exactly what it was, but I think we did confirm that it was commercial only. And I saw, and maybe, and I apologize for not researching this before I came in here, but did Louisiana just pass a new fillet or float plan for recreational fishermen? Is anybody aware of that?
Yeah, so it's charter based, not commercial based float plan. So essentially what it is the 2-day limit, multi-day limit for our state has to be conducted under a valid charter license, and it's usually within our state waters. People follow a float plan to go out to Chandeleur or somewhere else. They're following a plan to be able to possess fillets, but by regulation, you can't have more than a single day possession limit of fish on your vessel. Now, Louisiana's, they actually tailored theirs back a little bit. They had fillet regulations, they had daily possession limits, and they were up to 3 days. Those stipulations were is that you had to launch from a launch in Louisiana that was south of Highway 90 and have a receipt of staying at a camp or going on a charter vessel, right? Because they have to have passenger license associated with a charter vessel. The charter doesn't cover all of them. So those individuals could hold up to 3 days if they met those stipulations. What they did was roll that back to a minimum of 2 days with the same stipulations, I believe.
So is that, does that inclusive of any recreational, or did you say only commercial? It does include
It
recreational.
does include recreational, but their qualifier is that they have to launch from they have to go from a launch that is south of 90 in Louisiana, and they have to have a receipt or evidence of staying at a multi-day camp. You can't have somebody that's out on a boat,
Right, yeah.
having 2 days and then come back with no receipt or anything else. So there's a burden of proof that's put on the individuals that are holding 2 days worth of possession.
And they're actually filing a plan and permitting that prior to them leaving the launch site, I would think.
Now, I'm not sure on their float plan side of things, whether it's a pre-approval process or what, or whether they leave it on the back end to show that they've got evidence of receipt and everything else. I can contact Mr. Adrian's over there or anybody else to get a little more specific.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very interested in the possibility of maybe having even if it's a one bag limit in the state, for the guys that are the recreational folks that run out to the camps and then come back. It's a very much of a burden to try to come back to, to land and clean the fish and deal with all that. So I don't know. I just would love to look at it again with you guys.
Well, what we'll do, if the director's okay with it, next month we'll come up, we'll have a presentation of our current regulations. We'll have some regulations from the other states that deal with multi-day limits, kind of give an overall look at it, and then we'll have a discussion about it.
That would be fantastic. Thanks, Trevor. Appreciate it. All right, next up, Chief Wilkerson on the Marine Patrol report.
Morning. Have a good December? I did. I would like to start off with, I think we had a good call with Trevor. Thank you. Well with it. Now getting to the report itself. Oh, also the analogy of football stuff there, Director. We don't watch no this. Know that. We don't. That's it.
I'm with you. I thought they canceled the game when Ole Miss didn't make it there. I didn't even know it was on last night.
Anyway.
I don't think anybody in the SEC wanted any of that.
Looking at the report itself, December, common, a little light. Officers are out there working really hard and do diligent job. But everybody was off hunting, off the relatives. There was very low boat traffic. Even the boat count was stopped was cut in half. January, February. When we start getting into the spring, that's when we'll kick up and start in those. Nothing in the report itself jumps out at me. Like I said, it's pretty light. Officers and men and women are out there.
Any questions for Chief? I really appreciate the update, man. Stay warm, please.
Thank you.
All right, moving on down to Ms. Brantley, Wetlands Permitting 2025 update.
Good morning. I just have a quick update for yearly numbers from 2025. As far as our total actions, we've finished 800 actions, including 636 that are either regulated activities at the state level or federal actions that we review for coastal zone consistency. Carried out 131 reviews of projects, either just by the potential applicant sending us the project proposal and reviewing it on paper, or actually having a meeting with the proposed applicants to talk about the upcoming project. We had 41 violations that were reported. This is just a comparison of the last 2 years. You can see our numbers are pretty steady. We did go down a tiny bit on our regulated activities and consistencies, but we went up on our reviews and pre-application meetings, and thankfully went down a little bit on violations. For details on the violations, we had actually 18 violations that once we got out to the field were actual violations. The rest were not violations when we got out to the site. None of those had to be presented to the commission. We didn't have any fines assessed this year. 12 of those were projects that we would have approved if they had turned in an application prior to starting work on the project. So those were approved by the director through after the fact permits, and 6 had to be resolved by the property owner themselves. That usually involved some minor vegetation destruction. Typically, they are told to leave it alone. It grows back on its own. And then I wanted to cover the days that it takes us to from receipt of an application to issuance of the permit. And our average this year was 25 days, and that includes everything, even our long-term projects that can take months. So our goal for our general permits that we issue for small projects on behalf of the engineers is under 30 days. So we definitely met that goal and exceeded it this year. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Willa, appreciate it. Looks like we're moving down to finance and administration for a financial statement, please.
Morning, everybody. I'm presenting the financials for the end of December 31st. At the end of December, we had state revenue of 17, state net negative 65 million. I know from prior years, we don't get our appropriations after the after 6 months of this, at 92.5%.
Any questions on financials? All right, thank you, appreciate it. Ms. Charmaine? Public Affairs.
The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources had 6 media mentions since December MACR meeting. The items included the annual shrimp season closure north of the ICW and the poster and t-shirt contest for our annual Celebrate the Gulf Marine Education. The Mississippi Seafood Marketing Program participated in the inaugural Christmas on the Avenue in downtown Biloxi on December 19th. Decorated Christmas trees. The event featured over 100 Christmas trees sponsored by local businesses, organizations, and families. Line the Beaumarchais. Multi-day event also featured a golf cart parade, concert, and lighting of the tree. The cooking team cooked dinner for the Bernard Blackwell All-Star High School football game at the CRTC Dining Facility in Gulfport on December 18th. And MDMR's Capital Day in Jackson is coming up soon and is scheduled for the morning of Wednesday, February 4th, where we will have staff on hand and our informational publications available for anyone who would like to stop by and learn more about our agents. We will be in the rotunda alongside the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks.
All right. Thank you very much. Any questions for Ms. Charmaine?
Charmaine, I just want to say thank you for the help with Kids Fishing 101. We've got the boat show coming up, and I'm lucky enough to host a free kids event that we run about 200 to 400 kids through every year, and Charmaine's always a big help, and the department and each part of the department that comes out and helps out with that, it's a big hit. Thank y'all.
We're always happy to help, and we always hear that it's a great.
I appreciate it.
It is. It always looks packed every time I go over there. I'm sure
Oh,
there's kids waiting in line. I think there's some free giveaways, riding reels too, right?
Yeah, they all leave. We've got some great sponsors. They all get a riding reel and a bag full of other goodies, and they learn a lot while they're there, right? And we're planting seeds with that program because we see kids that may not have otherwise put a hand on a riding reel sometimes, and we teach them a little bit and we send them home with just enough to where they can go fishing in their backyard if they want to.
That's great.
Oh yeah, we'll run him through for sure.
Well, thank you. All right, skipping down to an update on stormwater work. That's great.
So it started with the EPA stormwater projects. That's the project worked on at Creole Elementary. And that project, phase one has been removed. That's also a partnership with, and so I really value is able program. These are programs, great virtually across the. And then there's we're looking at what phase that project might be. I'm in is an elementary a lot of problems. Talking to that project. Now NOAA Stormwater Park, this grant that we got that has been planning for what we're calling a stormwater park and property. So now the next phase of that is and partners. We also have a NIPWIF project called Renaturalization. That project also and have one that we're a sub to SM, mitigating flood risk. That one has a lot of action, our role and what we're helping. So all of these together, so what we've done is that as part of the NOAA Stormwater Project, there was a website development that was part of that so that we could present the projects. And we were able to broaden that to encompass all of our projects. So we have a new website that we've developed. It's called rivercityfloodready.com. And this is going to act as a central hub for all of our projects to be able to give information to the community. They can learn about the projects. It also provides an opportunity for them to give feedback to us, to know when the communities are, to know what happens, just to keep everyone informed. So this is really a partner and a community for everyone. Next slide. And so as part of this, we developed a logo so that the website would have an identity, so that we would have projects and working on this problem would have an identity. And that logo was developed in-house by Jessica Woodall, who is a new staff member at the NEAR. And the website's going to have education resources and also preparedness resources. Next slide. And then it's really our home for each of the projects. So there's a drop down. This is fund the NIFWIF project. And so by clicking on that and looking at the projects, you come through kind of what we're doing. And then it also is, it connects community members. So an important function of the Grand Bay NEAR is to act as a hub for partners to come together. And we thought this suite of projects made a perfect opportunity. There was a lot of people working on different stormwater. County is working on it, MSU is working on it, USM, but they weren't really coming together. So what we did as the NEAR was we created a group called Connecting Improved Stormwater Management, the system group, and we're meeting quarterly. We have a newsletter, and basically we're bringing all these different partners together with the help of the mayor of Moss Point at the city hall, and just talking about our projects and different ways that we can leverage. And again, this website is giving a hub for those meetings. Next slide. So we have some upcoming events in February. We have a community design team meeting. So what this is these are community members at Moss Point. So a select group of folks that have participated in a lot of our community meetings that give a lot of good feedback. And so we have a smaller group, and they're going to help us with these designs as we go along, so we can know what is important to them and what isn't important to them and how to design things. And then in March, there's going to be a big community meeting that is part of the USM project, Mitigating Flood Risk. And in April, phase 2, which is the planting at Creole, so we'll do more maintenance and planting on the Creole stormwater project. By then, the other stormwater elements that Coastal is working on will be completed, and we'll be working on that with you. And we have hats, stickers that were funded by NOAA that we're able to give away to sort of promote these ideas. That's all I had. Do you have any questions?
What a great program. I was just thinking, not only does it have the curb appeal, but the functionality of, excuse me. You mentioned the flooding prevention, but also we're putting the water back in a permeable surface instead of going out to the Gulf or to our streams and contaminating. You're stopping that before it gets closed. So it's
right, and
it's
that
very
is one
important.
of the reasons that DEQ is so interested in these water projects, is that nutrients that are coming off of people's lawns or just streets, those are going to get captured by these projects before they ever get to the Gulf. And so these projects are really, it's not just about flooding, it's also about nutrient reduction.
The more we develop on our coastline, the less green spaces we have. So we're creating runoff. So that's very important. Appreciate the update. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Great. Thank you.
Just that logo is great. And also it seems that Moss Point is a hot mess because all these projects are in Moss Point. Right?
Yeah, the Moss Point has such difficulty with flooding that there are folks that can't get to a regular job because they get out of their driveway often enough. You know, those kinds of things are happening there. And that street flooding, it's a nuisance, but some of it has to do with the gray infrastructure at Moss Point has had problems since Katrina. They lost a lot of their records, for paper records, during Katrina. So the planning and things like when Mr. Knight went in there and started working on that, they discovered that a lot of the records were gone and that a lot of the maintenance of those ditches and culverts and things like that just hadn't been done or hadn't gotten done, lack of money, whatever reason. And so there's a problem both in the gray infrastructure, which is what Jackson County mostly works on, but what we pointed out to them is that by incorporating these clean infrastructure components with that we get these other benefits, beautification benefits, nutrient reduction benefits, and things like that. And it works. So yeah, absolutely. Moss Point right now is kind of an all hands on deck city. But a lot of these little cities, Gulfport, Ocean Springs, they all have different flooding problems. I'm sure y'all are aware of that, street flooding problems in Pascagoula and other places where these components would be helpful as well. So our thought is that as we're working on this and as we're expanding, we're creating ideas and examples that we can take to these.
Yeah, Moss Point is a a growing city. And if you look at it, and Mayor Knight has done a great job. I mean, he has asked us to help him in numerous ways, and Aisha and them have worked with him a lot on some things, and being able to marry some of our money with federal money and other things to be able to do it, it's really come a long way. But I tell you what, I won't be surprised. Probably another 5 years, you won't know Moss Point as it is today, because it's going to be the way they're redoing the waterfront, the way they're redoing all the area around it. They're really making it a nice area over there. Good luck. Thank you for helping them.
That part of it.
Okay, well, do we have any other business? No public comments? All right, well, I appreciate everybody, and if we have a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.